What's going on, guys? Javin back with another video. So Epic brought the charged shotgun back to the game. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's my favorite gun. A lot of people are saying, dude, the pump is always going to be alpha. To me, I see it as 100% personal preference, but I came up with this idea for solo cash cups that I think is going to be unbelievably OP if you can master the playstyle. The idea is in early and mid game, you rock a pump or lever, whatever you find. Preferably pump if you can find one. And then once it gets close to moving zones, that's when you want to side grade to a charge. You stay on front edge of zone and you hold people on the back edge of zone with a fully charged shotgun. I wanted to test this idea out in scrims and see if I could master this playstyle, and dude, it worked so well. You're going to hear me talking more about this throughout the video and talking about other solo strategies in the new season. But before we really get into the deets, please consider using code JivanTV in the Fortnite item shop, and maybe hit that like button and sub if you're new. Without further ado, let's get into this video. First thing I want to do in this video is explain what I'm playing here. I'm playing on the rematch.gg website, and the way this works is you get 5 games and your best 3 games count towards your position on the leaderboard. So the idea is to pop off in 3 games as much as you can. I'm going to tell you right now that the last 2 games, it starts at around 10 minutes, were absolute pop-offs. The first 3 games were really consistent. I got top 5 every single game in this tourney, but the last 2 were crazy, so feel free to skip there if you want, but I am going to be giving tips in these early games. Now that we covered that, let's get straight into a few tips I have for you. First tip is run solo scrims in the preseason, and I mean that. The reason is, if you're like me and you used cows for most of your rotates last season, obviously, we don't have that luxury this season. So you're going to have to get used to rotating without any movement, launch pads, cows, anything, because you're not going to find a launch pad every game. You got to be much more strategic with your positioning. So rotating early is going to be crucial. And you're also going to want to pay attention in this video to how I rotate without wasting too many mats. You don't want to full tunnel every zone, obviously. You want to try to conserve wherever you can, just placing ramps behind you, protecting your angles of most danger with walls. What this means is basically just anytime you know there's people positioned to your right or above you, you want to preemptively block that off before they even start to shoot at you. Simply so you don't risk getting charged shotgunned, you don't risk getting beamed. It's all about predicting your angles of most danger. But at the same time, you do want to conserve as many mats as possible. The biggest way to do this is by trying to stay as far on front edge of zone as you can. That way you only have to block your back for the most part. And a lot of times, if I get on front edge of zone, I'll just make a box, look back for frags, and then try to save as many mats as possible while rotating to front edge again. Rotate and then base up and look for frags. Rotate, base up, look for frags. That's how I was doing it. And again, I got top 5 every game in this tourney, so obviously it worked out pretty well. Just so you know, I'm not talking specifically about this game. This game was a little bit different. I kept building up layers trying to stay elevated because this was a mountain zone. Wait a minute, I just realized I didn't get top 5 this game. Hold up. Well, we placed top 6 every single game. Oops. Anyways, I really should have won this game. You'll see what happened. I honestly played it really well, but just a millisecond timing got me killed. Anyways, if you've seen these videos before, you know that for the most part, this is going to be highlights, but I am going to stop by here and there with tips and little VOD reviews of what I did wrong. Just make sure you stay tuned for game 4 and 5. I'm telling you, nuts. So right here is one thing that I've been trying to improve on. When rotating like this, where you're just blocking your angles of most danger like I am here, you should be building in wood because you don't need to be wasting your hard mats for that. I forget to switch to my wood a lot, so a lot of times I'll be stuck with 500 wood at the end of the game and no hard mats. So that's one little thing I'm going to be working on throughout the season. Another thing I'm trying to switch up in my playstyle is starting to push a lot more people in endgame, and I mean a lot more. I'm trying to go from a consistent player, which you're seeing in these first 3 games, to an absolutely dominant player who can place first in cash cups. So yeah, in these first 3 games, you're kind of seeing that consistent playstyle, and in the later games, you're going to see the dominant playstyle. So in this endgame, I was missing a lot of shots. I didn't go for a lot of refreshes. I didn't utilize my harpoon. A lot of stuff I did wrong. I should have won that game, and I know that. Definitely got to get used to using the harpoon again. It's something I forget I have in my inventory since I haven't used it in so long. Another thing to note about these games is if half and half zone, the one I was rotating right there, pulls really far, you can almost always reuse a launch pad. You just have to keep your cool, protect your angles, know that people will probably be sitting on the launch pad waiting to shoot you, and if you don't find one immediately, just slowly tunnel forward with the zone pushing into your back until you do see one. Worst comes to worst, you have to rotate without it, but if you can find a launch pad in that zone, you'll be saved. One last thing is you have to block your front because a lot of times people will be holding that launch pad from in zone, spraying at people that are using it. There's a lot of stuff to look out for, but if you start to look for launch pads before that zone even starts closing, you should be able to find one every time. So right here, you're gonna see me make a big mistake. It's just a little thing that has major consequences. If you go for a medkit play like I did here, which was a good play, don't get me wrong, you need to be looking for your quickest escape into the safe zone. While the medkit is popping, just take a quick scan around, see which builds are yours, see if there's any wood walls that you can break through, and if you have a harpoon, use it to get to the safe zone. It breaks through builds faster than your pickaxe. All that stuff could have saved this game.
We are currently in second place, just based on consistency. Let's go.
Alright, so these last two games, like I said, absolutely crazy. This first one I didn't have a charge because I couldn't find any nuts and bolts, so as soon as we were allowed to fight, I just looked for some kills and tried to get a charge. This game, I got a decent amount of kills, but not as much as next game. Still, this game was just beautifully played. Let's check it out.
Let's go, baby. 8 kills. Dubber-Rooney.
I have no complaints with last game. I probably could have looked back in zone for a few more kills with the charge, but fire game all around. And you may be thinking that hype play wasn't worth it. I didn't notice that he was peppered out until later on in the fight, but because I griefed all that guy's mats at that point in the game, it kind of gave me the dub in the end. Dude had no mats at the end of the game, which is why I was able to get the kill. At the same time, I should have dropped down a little bit earlier when I saw that he was peppered. Anyways, this is the game that is a perfect example of how to play with the charge in endgame. The playstyle just clicked and we popped off. I don't want to talk about it. All I had to do was close that wall after the pump shot. I know, I messed up. I had chug cannon, I had everything. I know. Either way, dude, 13 kills in a scrim endgame. I killed more than half the lobby in that moving zone. All with this charge strategy. It's so good. I'm gonna keep practicing scrims, and I'll see you guys at the top of the Solo Cash Cup leaderboard. Don't forget to hit that like button, sub if you're new, and use code JivanTV. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.